Hello everyone and welcome to Chaosville Season 2. So... Monroeville is basically gone. I've scoured the interior of whatever is left of the turtle and can't find it anywhere. I assumed it'd be in some of the logistic spots in the back there, but I can't seem to find any drive that could possibly contain it, so I presume that, unfortunately, much like Remember Cam at the moment, it's somewhere in the pattern buffers. Oh, look, a creeper's trying to finish the job. Eesh, well, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. Right, so, I need a place to live, so we're going to wander around over here and see if I can possibly find out a decent spot to build a small little house. I have it on reasonably good authority that Gar went way over there. Everyone else I pretty much don't know. Copper, gravel, ore is just as hard to mine as this regular kind of mine. Whoop, nope, I don't have any weapons or food, nope. Okay, so, interesting thing I've already figured out is that this planet has a different mod pack than Planet Chaosville did. So instead of Direwolf 20, or a strange mixed up version of it, this planet is using Resonant Rise on the AT launcher, so that took a bit of getting used to. But that's interesting. I wonder if all the planets in this universe have different mod packs, or if there's any two that have the same. I don't know. Could be if we develop space travel somehow. We might actually be able to fly off to another mod pack, maybe even to vanilla Minecraft, who knows. That's not quite the direction I want to go, and I don't really want to be sticking around the cold much. So I figure I'll take this as an opportunity to slightly revisit my roots, so to speak, and go back to the sort of style of gameplay that I was using in Carpenter Station, the original Tekkit series. So in Carpenter Station, for those of you who haven't seen the videos, I attempted to rebuild, to construct a replica of the Arctic Research Station that existed inside of the movie John Carpenter's The Thing. And so this first building I'm going to be putting together is similarly a recreation of the woodland cabin of Sam Raimi's Evil Dead. Specifically, I'm using the Evil Dead 2 version as far as my basics go. This looks like a fairly nice area. Some nice stuff around here. We've got a quarried stone from Railcraft. Okay. And one of the annoying things I found about this particular mod pack, though, is that it doesn't play well with the animations. So, walking, sprinting, walking, sprinting. Nope, no change in the FOV. And also, that is the Chaosville Season 2 Skype going nuts. So, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to need about 4.5 stacks of wood. So, let's get to work on that. Ideally oak, so it's all one uniform colour, but not all of it needs to stay the same. So yeah, it's a new dawn, a new day, a new series, new pack, and we have a substantially reduced population. I'm guessing that the total didn't pick up everyone, or maybe there's also in the pattern buffers with Remember Cam. I don't know. I haven't seen LD around, I haven't seen GNR around much yet. He was around when we got sucked up, I know that much, but I don't know much beyond that. I haven't seen YZ, but that's true of a lot of things. Okay, let's get ourselves a crafting bench. Nice to see any eyes still around. And I'm going to make a pick just quickly to get some stone. I hope I can use this stuff. Quarried stone to quarried stone. Can I make a pick out of this? No, I can't, so I need to find some actual stone. That's fine. Still got durability on this thing. And there is a pool of I do not even know. Migmatite. There are some weird names around here. But fortunately, we have this thing at the top of the screen there, which is, what am I looking at, otherwise known as Whaler, which is telling us exactly what we are looking at. Self-explanatory. So that is going to be helpful in demonstrating and explaining some things. Okay. What is this stuff? And more importantly, can I use it to make a pick? Yes, I can. That's a stick? Okay, that's an odd-looking stick. Now let's pick up about 6 of this, so that I can make a axe and a pickaxe. Be nice to get back to the old weaponry. Okay, that should do. Don't take that out because I don't know what this stuff is. It's quite probably will poison me in some fashion or another. Okay, there's my bench. They are. Okay, so yeah, fairly basic start out 2 things. Just getting the basic resources to build a little house. There we go. Upgrade. And then getting a whole smeg ton of wood, so that we can start building our Evil Dead. And the Evil Dead house is going to be about 13 blocks wide and about 23 long, so it's not exactly a small construction, but smaller than Carpenter Station was, and a hell of a lot smaller than the Dawn of the Dead mall was. Poor Monroeville. Oh well. Maybe I'll find it one of these days, we'll see. Just have that in my bar so I can see it. Okay, so I need a bit of deforestation. Now, Evil Dead has an interesting history. There was the original Evil Dead, I think sometime in the 1970s or the 1960s. I'll get my facts straight for the next episode. I'm still a little fuzzed up after the crash landing here. And there was Evil Dead 1, or the original Evil Dead rather, and then it was followed by Evil Dead 2, which, despite being a sequel, was basically a complete recounting, give or take. And then you had Evil Dead Army of Darkness, which is personally my favourite on the list, which involved the lead character, Ashley Williams, usually called Ash, Shop S-Smart, travelling into a sort of parallel past-time thing, which, if you haven't seen the movie, I highly recommend it. It's fairly old now, you can find it in a whole ton of places. And he sort of sets part of the original movies into swing, which is kind of, and for the time at least, was slightly unusual. They hadn't had much in the way of time travel actually having full effects like that. But it basically centers around a book known as the Necronomicon, a word that has been rather famous throughout geek literature and such. And the Necronomicon is bound in human flesh and written in blood. And it is the sole summoner of the Deadites, evil, disembodied spirits that are looking to cause all manner of mayhem and death and doom, and what they want, what we have, which is life. And one of their most iconic phrases is, "Dead by dawn, dead by dawn, I'll swallow your soul." So yeah, that's going to be our first construction. I'm going to focus on making ideally smaller, on the list of smaller, buildings from horror movies. I'm going to talk about the movies that they come from, and they're going to be dominantly kind of standalone. I might use some supplies generated by one building to build another, but by and large they'll be sort of alone in their own wilderness section. And okay, so I've got a stack and a half almost here now, so still a bit more to go. I'll keep building. And in the midst of all that, I'm going to be talking about one of the things that I am... I never want to say most knowledgeable about, but one of the things I'm reasonably knowledgeable about, which is the horror genre in general. So, next episode, I believe I will discuss the principles of horror. That is to say, the things that make horror scary, and the things that people use to generate terror inside of a person. So this episode, I guess I'll begin by describing horror itself. So horror is a genre of literature, movies, and artwork and such, typified by its endeavor to create a fear response from a human being. Now, you may wonder why people want to be scared, and the answer is that it's a natural sensation, and it gets the adrenaline pumping, it generates all manner of fun senses inside of it, sensations inside of our psyches, which, living in the modern world, we don't usually get much chance to exercise. I enjoy it because it gets my heart pounding, and some people just like to be scared. Honestly, that's a fairly reasonable assessment. There's a bunch of wood here, and I'm going to need a new axe soon enough. Ooh, apple. Good, good, good. Don't quite need the food just yet, but I'm going to very soon. I am cutting down a lot of oak trees, actually. There's probably a few more apples around here. Oh, I need more stone. No, more migmatite. So it's sort of similar along to like sad movies, like the ending to Casablanca that a lot of people will point out as being one among the saddest movies ever, has saddest moments in movie history. Even though that's a romance movie, and even if they end up completely separated and whatnot. Spoilers if you haven't seen Casablanca, but if you haven't by now, you probably never will. So yeah, it sort of follows on to a lot of other movies which are depressing or terrifying, evoking of a negative emotion, I'll say, just to keep that sentence structure short. In that it's purely developed to create a negative emotional response. People want to be scared and they like to be scared, and that's where horror comes in. Now, it has a long history. For a while, it was sort of mired in the B movie. A lot of early horror movies, especially ones from the 50s, you'll probably remember, are things like Attack of the Giant Ants, or Invasion of the Invisible Aliens, and all sorts. It was all based around monsters and such. And in terms of movies, literature in terms of horror goes back much farther, to the times of Bram Stoker and such, and Mary Shelley, as well as to things like The Taming of the Shrew, and indeed, even in some parts, to Shakespearean literature. And even back further. Basically, if you can think of a ghost story, if you can think of any kind of old ghost story, if you can think of an old monster, you can see a sign that horror has existed around for a very long time. And ooh dear, the sun is setting, which means the deadites are going to come out and kill us. How am I doing here? I'm past 2 stacks. I might make a start on making at least the front section of this place. Come on, I know there's going to be more logs hidden in here. That's why this place isn't decaying faster. Now, typical elements of horror include someone who is, for whatever reason, in peril, the old damsel in distress trope. Often there's some kind of overt threat, be it the evil banker who's looking to destroy your homestead, or the monster who's coming to eat you, or the serial killer is a fairly typical one these days. Who's a mad human being with no sense of sympathy, who is out to kill you in, ideally, the most gruesome and painful way imaginable. But it doesn't really have to stop there. It can, as when you look at the serial killer basically shows you human nature, which shows that humans can be just as evil as the monsters who also populate the genre. And you can also see from the monsters that the force does not have to be animated. It can, in fact, be natural. It can be nature itself trying to reclaim. And then you can just see the acts of unfortunateness, or the acts of sanity, showing that any human and any force, indeed, can, in fact, be negative. It's a matter of perspective. So combined, put that all together, we get a sense that the horror genre really can be a sort of an any-man genre. It can be, promoting of eco-environmentalism, it can be promoting of technology. For example, Ghostbusters is fantastic there, an old comedy kind of horror movie, but wherein science and technology comes together to battle the villainous supernatural. Conversely, you also have Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, wherein science generates the evil and the unnatural. Although, of course, the Frankenstein monster himself was fairly benign until he got angry. Sort of like Hulk, I guess. Hulk can be seen as another embodiment of a more modern piece, which of course is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the duality of the human soul generating a sense of villainy and evil. So yeah, horror can be tremendously varied, and it doesn't even, in a lot of cases, it doesn't even have to be good. It's a genre that's open to a lot of allegory. So, for example, George Romero, who I've talked about quite a bit in the course of the last season of Chaosville, is renowned. He is notorious for putting a lot of metaphor and symbolism, often quite heavy-handedly, into his zombie movies. So, Dawn of the Dead, which we were covering last season, was very much the consumerism of mankind, leading inevitably to this sort of bizarre final stand inside of a shopping mall. And then Night of the Living Dead can be seen as suspicion, paranoia. Who are these people? Why are they in this house with me? Why am I not the slightest bit worried that they're going to kill me? All sorts. Which are common themes inside of horror, is human emotions and the downfall that they can lead to if they're left unchecked. There's countless times where some hopeful and helpful character has been shot down by someone in the grips of paranoia. And I'm surprised that my hunger is going down so slowly at this rate, actually. I'm jumping around and running around and mining a lot here. Okay, where am I? So far, so good. No mobs. Haven't seen a single one, which is good, because I haven't even made a sword yet. I do have enough to make a sword, though. So I'll get to that now. Now, the original the original Evil Dead house, it should be said, did not have a scenic lakefront property involved. But this is my first build, and I don't want to spend half this episode just roaming away from spawn and such, or from the turtle rather. Okay, we're nearly at 3 stacks of wood, and I again need 4.5. They're okay. That was weird. The Deadites have come to claim me. They're pulling me away and back through time and all sorts. Right. So, what have we talked about? We've talked about the fact that genre can be an any-man genre. That can horror can be an any-man genre. It can be man versus nature, nature versus man, or man versus man, or even nature versus nature. There's a couple of examples of that. Fern Gully can be an example of that, believe it or not. And it is designed to evoke a fear response, specifically fear. If you are not getting scared by a horror movie, then that horror movie has failed. And we'll talk about the principles of horror in the next episode as to how horror movies try to evoke that sensation of primal, oh my god, I'm going to die, and all sorts, or oh my god, I'm going to be in tremendous agony for a very long kind of period. Ooh, there is another log. I should really sort out my hotbar here. I don't have my macros up on line at the moment, so I'm not flipping between them as much as I'd like to, which is kind of a problem because I have an issue with my mouse for some reason, where if I scroll too much or for too long, it does exactly what it's just done, which is it disconnects itself. I don't know why it does that, but it's kind of annoying. Right. So I just have to unplug and replug it in for it to recognize itself again. I don't know why it does that. It's very strange. It's only started doing that fairly recently. Okay, grab you. And we still haven't seen any mobs. Actually, we saw some spiders at the start there, but we haven't actually seen anything, more or less. Which is a little bit disconcerting. Or maybe it's all the hives. Maybe it's because I'm in a forest. There's all these beehives around that are just impeding their spawning. I don't know. But give horse mouth all that. I'm not going to complain about a good thing happening. Not much, anyways. Of course, there's many examples in horror where the beneficial can become quickly the curse. Immortality is a fantastic example of that. You live forever. You can't be killed. You don't really get sick. You don't age and become decrepit and elderly. Not to suggest that all elderly are decrepit, but ultimately all of your loved ones die, and all that you attempt to build rots into oblivion as the time wages on. yeah, that's sort of a classic reversal kind of style of horror. Well, that piece of dirt is gone forever. Yeah, I can't. I'm reading. Whaler is reading what's on the other side of this, so I can't really see what this is. Oh, nippy's on. Okay, so yeah, Nifty was picked up, but he was a bit hard to find when we landed. There was a lot of crashing. A few people got thrown out of the cargo hold, so I don't know where they'll go. I haven't yet seen any natives of this planet. Planet Delta Squid and Planet Chaosville all had natives, but I haven't seen any natives of this planet. Maybe we'll find some. And whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, hunger, slowness, and poison. Ugh, that was a bad thing to do. Eek. Wow, that was painful. Fortunately, a single apple will bring me up there. Barley, similar to wheat, it grows in the wild. Used to make barley flour. Bake me to make bread, also used in baking cake. And same. 12663. Okay, that's got the recipe twice for some reason. And it also makes bread. Okay, so that's fun to know. We have some bread already available to us. Okay, well, let's get a little bit to work on building our property here. I haven't got quite all the materials I need to make the perimeter section, but we'll make it anyway because I don't particularly want to spend too many nights out in the open, even if we don't have to worry too much apparently about them about any deadites showing up. Okay, so we need 13 by 23. So let's start over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it comes in a block here. Okay, let's do it from over here actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, good. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That gets us to the front section of the doors. Not quite the front section of the house. That gets us to the front porch, basically. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's where our front door goes. I'll just block that up a bit there. Okay, and then 1. Nope, you don't go there. You go there. 3, 4, 5, 6, and up. Okay. Tarmac route, is that? Or Tama route. What are you used for? Sigil of Gentle Rains. From Ars Magica 2. Also used for making infused essence potion, and that is an interesting one. Okay, now, by my estimations... Oop, did I miscount? Oh, of course, because it has to be 7, doesn't it? So this needs to be a block further out. Right. Now, by my estimations, the main body of the house is about 4 blocks in height, so up to there. And we'll bring the rest of them out with that as well. There is a door at the back here, but I can't quite specifically remember where it is. So we'll leave it for the moment. Okay, and I think I'm going to finish this off camera. And we'll get the perimeter of it done so we can start working on some of the interiors and getting some reasonable supplies going, because all I have at my behest right now is purely wood. And I shall catch you all next time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and or a favourite. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to be notified of future updates. You can also check out the website where most other content is uploaded. That's all for now, catch you later.